Swedish defense firm Saab wants Canada to buy and build its fighter jets. The firm is pitching a partnership with Bombardier and promising to create up to 10,000 jobs along with it. This comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney ordered a review of Canada's F-35 contract with U.S. firm Lockheed Martin.
Did you know Canada is reconsidering a $19 billion fighter jet deal just 2 years after signing it? And the choice could affect how the country defends 3.8 million square miles of Arctic airspace. Experts believe there's a real chance Ottawa might walk away from that plan and choose a completely different aircraft, one built with local jobs and control in mind. Many people assume big purchases like this always go to the biggest and most talked about fighter, but behind the scenes a quiet challenge has been gaining traction. For years, Canada's fighter selection was treated as a predictable checklist item, but that script has started to break. Engineers, military analysts and economic planners have been debating things most Canadians never hear about, like software control, weapon integration rights, and where engines are serviced. Even more striking is how a Swedish company has offered partnerships that could bring thousands of jobs and real technology work to Canadian cities. That offer has pushed Ottawa to pause, review, and openly reconsider its past decision. Stay tuned as we uncover how Canada's defence future depends on its deal with Sweden for the Saab Gripen, and what that could mean for sovereignty, industry, and the skies above the Arctic.
Respond to the fact that Saab is offering 10,000 jobs if you go with the Gripen, but at the same time, Lockheed Martin says thousands of jobs could be lost if we don't go with the F-35. How are you balancing that?
Well, what I've said is I don't believe that we've had enough jobs created and industrial benefits done out of the F-35 contract. I think it's not enough. I think Canadians expect more, and we should get more.
Two major defence programmes are now locked in a contest that will shape Canada's air power for decades. The widely fielded Lockheed Martin F-35 versus Sweden's Saab Gripen. Ottawa officially committed to buying a fleet of 88 advanced fighters in its future fighter capability project. And that number has become the frame for everything: capability planning, industry bids, political argument and public debate. The government's January 20 and 23 announcement described a plan to acquire 88 F-35A jets in tranches, beginning with an initial group of 16 and with an acquisition estimate originally stated at about 19 billion Canadian dollars. That public announcement did not end the debate. It started a much louder one. The F-35 is the world's most widespread fifth-generation fighter program. It is also one of the most expensive and logistically complex military projects ever built, and independent reviews have shown a steady rise in sustainment expense, alongside lower than expected fleet availability. The US Government Accountability Office reported that sustainment cost estimates for the program climbed from roughly $1.1 trillion in 2018 to about $1.58 trillion by 2023, which is a 44% increase, while planned flight hours and operational availability are below early projections. At the same time, the US Congressional Budget Office and other watchdogs have documented that per-aircraft operations and support costs remain high, and that mission-capable rates have hovered in the 50 to 60% range for long periods, well below original program targets. Those hard numbers have become core talking points for anyone weighing whether Canada should proceed exactly as planned, pause and renegotiate, or look for an alternative. Sweden's Gripen pitch and Saab's very visible outreach to Ottawa and Canadian industry changed the political and technical conversation. Saab's public material and news reporting show an active campaign to offer not just aircraft sales, but local industrial partnership. A Gripen for Canada approach that includes promises of Canadian-based maintenance, training centres and research hubs, proposals for local assembly and technology transfer, and claims of substantial job creation if Ottawa placed an order. That message is carefully packaged to speak to two powerful Canadian concerns: sovereignty over operational choices and long-term economic returns for local aerospace supply chains. Reuters and Saab's own market briefings report talks about localization, a Gripen centre in Montreal, and offers to put advanced aerospace work inside Canada. Those business and industrial details are exactly what turned a procurement decision into an industrial strategy debate. The technical differences, financial math and industrial promises matter because Canada faces three linked problems all at once: a strategic requirement to protect huge northern territory and Arctic approaches, shrinking domestic aerospace capacity since the 1950s and 1960s, and a political expectation that a major equipment buy should deliver Canadian economic benefits. Those three realities push officials and industry to look beyond simple price per aircraft comparisons and toward whole life cost sustainment chains, sovereign control of software and weapons integration, and long-term industrial footprints. On capability, Gripen E and the F-35 are different tools with different strengths. Saab's Gripen E is a single-engine, light to medium-weight fighter with a modern AESA radar, advanced electronic warfare suite, infrared search and track options, and a design focused on low operating cost and easy support. Saab advertises the Gripen E's ability to carry roughly 7,200 kilograms of weapons and fuel across 10 hardpoints, a single GE-designed F414G engine, and modern sensors that let it perform air-to-air and air-to-ground missions in harsh climates while operating from shorter or rougher runways. The Gripen's whole force concept emphasizes simplicity of maintenance, smaller logistic tails, and easier national control of software and weapons integration. That configuration is the foundation of the Swedish sales pitch, a robust multi-role fighter tailored to countries with large territory but limited garrison footprints, and one that can be maintained locally with smaller support crews. The F-35 is a heavier, stealthy sensor fusion platform built around networked operations and deep integration with US logistics and command structures. The F-35's stealth features, sensor suite, and data fusion capabilities create a modern type of tactical advantage. Airplanes that not only fly faster or carry heavier loads, but that gather, fuse, and share information across a force. That capability has strategic value in peer contests, coalition warfare, and highly contested environments. But sensor fusion and stealth come with trade-offs. Many reports have highlighted complex sustainment needs, software licensing, and data sharing arrangements, and a sustainment model that currently relies on US-led back-end logistics, approval flows for some upgrades, and an industrial network that ties partners into a global supply chain. For some partner nations, these arrangements are acceptable in exchange for the F-35's technical edge. For others, the price of dependence, not just in dollars but in approvals, data sharing, and limited ability to adapt, becomes a significant national security and political concern. The practical numbers make the trade-offs visible. The US and program watchdogs have put the F-35's lifetime sustainment bill in the many hundreds of billions. The GAO's work highlights a $1.58 trillion sustainment estimate as of 2023 for the whole program. The Congressional Budget Office's analysis stresses that operating and support costs per aircraft and per flight hour have stabilized but remain substantial, and that availability for mission tasks has been lower than planners expected. Independent estimates of direct operating cost per flight hour for the F-35A have ranged from roughly $30,000 to $42,000, depending on the study and the accounting method used. DoD and prime contractor targets have in recent years set cost per hour goals in the $25,000 to $30,000 range, but actual numbers reported by third parties and watchdogs have been higher, and those numbers drive debate about affordability for smaller air forces. High per hour costs and the reality that the fleet often posts mission-capable rates around half of program targets have a direct effect on how many jets an air force can keep ready at any given time. Low availability means fewer aircraft actually ready to fly for NORAD quick reaction alerts, Arctic patrol sorties, or coalition operations, no matter the number of airframes bought. Those cost and availability numbers matter politically in Ottawa because Canada's geography and mission set are unusual. NORAD obligations, Arctic surveillance, sovereignty patrols along far-flung coastlines, and the requirement to move men and material over long distances place premium value on long range. Fuel efficiency in extreme cold, the ability to operate from temporary or remote sites, and straightforward sustainment. The Gripen's operating model, short field operations, small support crews, low maintenance hours per flight hour, fits those needs on paper in ways the F-35's current sustainment profile does not. Independent analyses and defence commentators have pointed out that lighter aircraft with lower per hour costs can put more aircraft into the air per dollar of operating budget, which matters when alerts are routine and mission tempo is spread along thousands of kilometres of coastline and Arctic airspace. Industry and jobs are a second driving factor. When governments buy major defence systems, industrial offsets or economic benefits come with the purchase. Saab's campaign explicitly leans on the promise of local industry. A Gripen centre in Montreal for maintenance and training, R&D centres focused on sensors and cyber, and local assembly or final assembly if Canada orders at scale. Saab and Reuters, reporting in 2025, discussed negotiations and suggested that a Canadian production option could create thousands of jobs. Figures in media coverage and company statements talked about up to 10,000 direct and indirect positions in several provinces if a full industrial package were agreed. Saab's "Built for Canada by Canadians" message is straightforward. The aircraft is sold along with transfer of capability, not just a delivery of finished planes. That kind of offer shifts the decision from a pure platform choice to a national industrial strategy discussion, with implications for long-term aerospace capacity, university and skills development, and regional economic plans. If you enjoyed this discussion on how a single engine can reshape strategic choices across the world, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you stay updated on future breakdowns of defense technology and global security topics.